Now are you able to see?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Uh, we'll start. I think Ashok is also there. He was just trying to come in. Ashok is here. Ashok ji, you are there? He's muted. Okay. We'll start with the prayer. I think today there are a lot of other prayers also as a part of the text, I think. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai, the universal prayer. O Parvardigar, the preserver and protector of all, you are without beginning and without end, non-dual, beyond comparison, and none can measure you. You are without color, without expression, without form, and without attributes. You are unlimited and unfathomable, beyond imagination and conception, eternal and imperishable. You always were, you always are, and you always will be. You are everywhere, you are in everything, and you are also beyond everywhere and beyond everything. You are in the firmament and in the depths. You are manifest and unmanifest on all planes and beyond all planes. You are in the three worlds and also beyond the three worlds. You are imperceptible and independent. You are the Creator, the Lord of Lords, the knower of all minds and hearts. You are omnipotent and omnipresent. You are knowledge infinite, power infinite, and bliss infinite. You are the ocean of knowledge, all knowing, infinitely knowing, the knower of the past, the present, and the future, and your knowledge itself. You are all merciful and eternally benevolent. You are the soul of souls, the one with infinite attributes. You are the trinity of truth, knowledge, and bliss. You are the source of truth, the ocean of love. You are the ancient one, the highest of the high. You are Prabhu and Parameshwar. You are the beyond God and beyond God also. You are Parabrahma, Allah, Ilahi, Izdan, Ahuramazda, and God the Beloved. You are named Izad, the only one worthy of worship. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Shall we continue with the book?
Today, no one is there. I think. Ash- uh,
Ashok ji is there on the call.
Yes, I'm there. Jai
Yes,
Baba,
yes.
everyone. And
Okay, okay.
Mamaji, we can read the seven realities or something, or normally what something some my wish or God. Somebody can read, or if you want, I'll get the book and read the seven
No,
realities.
I can read that. I have the book here. You
Yeah, I think that.
heard the first prayer, or you were not there at that time?
No, I was there in the prayer. I was there in the universal
Okay,
prayer.
okay, okay. I will read the seven realities, and the book also today contains lot of these prayers and messages from Baba.
Jai Baba.
Tar
And
Meher Baba Ki Jai. The seven realities: existence, love, sacrifice, renunciation, knowledge, control, and surrender. I give no importance to creed, dogma, caste, or the performance of religious ceremonies and rites, but to the understanding of the following. 1. The only real existence is that of the one and only God, who is the self in every finite self. Number 2, the only real love is the love for this infinity, God, which arouses an intense longing to see, know, and become one with its truth, God. Number three, the only real sacrifice is that in which, in pursuance of this love, all things, body, mind, position, welfare, and even life itself are sacrificed. Number four, the only real renunciation is that which abandons, in the midst of worldly duties, all selfish thoughts and desires. Number five, the only real knowledge is the knowledge that God is the inner dweller in good people and in so called bad, in saint and in so called sinner. This knowledge requires you to help all equally as circumstances demand without expectation of reward. When compelled to take part in a dispute, to act without the slightest trace of enmity or hatred, to try to make others happy with the brotherly or sisterly feeling for each one, and to harm no one in thought, word, or deed, not even those who harm you. Number six, the only real control is the discipline of the senses to abstain from indulgence in low desires, which alone ensures absolute purity of character. Number seven, the only real surrender is that in which poise is undisturbed by any adverse circumstance, and the individual, amidst every kind of hardship, is resigned with perfect calm to the will of God. Avtar Meher Baba ki jai. Yesterday we stopped on the last part of the page 109. Today we will start with page 110 on Baba's work. Shall I continue reading?
Yeah.
Okay. On Baba's work, Baba is the avatar of the age, and the greatest work anyone can do is to love Baba as Baba ought to be loved. He alone who can love Baba does Baba's work. He alone who can love Baba does Baba's work. What is Baba's work? It is to tell people who Baba is and that Baba says one should love all, slander none, have a pure heart, and not make others suffer for one's own comfort and pleasure. If Baba's workers themselves lack these qualities, how can they tell others of what Baba says and work as Baba's workers? On the contrary, such workers have no share in doing Baba's work. They are a burden in Baba's work. There are two types of workers. There is one who tells people who Baba is and what Baba says, and he himself lives and acts as I want my worker to be in life. There is another who also loves me in his own way and lacks the qualities desired by me. When such a one, instead of doing my work haphazardly, confesses his incapacity to others and tells them what I want them to do, there is no binding created for the workers and no burden felt by me on behalf of such a worker. The worker should be bold and candid enough to admit and try to overcome his weaknesses before he attempts to preach what Baba says. In doing Baba's work, there is one great difficulty. The workers have love for Baba, no doubt, but at the same time, they have their characteristic weaknesses. The great difficulty resides in the expression of one's ego, the feeling of self importance by which one is possessed, despite one's best efforts to lose it. The heart is for weakening the ego, but the mind is for strengthening it. The mind gains a sense of greatness in doing Baba's work. There is no escaping this. What is to be done then? Try to be humble, but even when the leader of a group charged with the responsibility of spreading Baba's message of love tries to be humble, his co-workers may take it as a mere posing on the part of their leader and look down upon him. Though for his quality of leadership, other people respect the leader. Another weak spot in doing Baba's work is that the workers themselves fail to cooperate. With differences of opinion, they find fault with one another. The result is that the work itself suffers. All this is because the workers differ among themselves while they dare to carry to the people Baba's message of love and truth and purity of heart. But there is a remedy for this type of disunity. If the workers try to act upon it sincerely, it would be easy to wipe away the weak spot. Real workers are those who, in addition to giving help to their leaders, disregard the faults of their leaders and co workers. In such cases, the workers themselves become leaders and yet remain sincere workers too. If my workers follow this advice and cooperate with their leaders and co workers, understanding that it is I who have entrusted the responsibility to the group heads, then your Baba's work would be done. Can anyone go ahead with this? How to escape illusion?
Sure. I will go with this one. How to escape illusion. My message today to those who love me and believe in my life in that is that in order to escape this cosmic illusion and to realize and attain the supreme reality, we must abide by the following. First and foremost, our complete first and foremost, our complete surrender to the God man, in whom God reveals himself in his full glory, his infinite power, his unfathomable knowledge, in inexpressible bliss, and his eternal existence. Should this complete surrender not be possible, then one or some of the following is faithfully carried out can win the grace of God. First, wholehearted love for God, thirst for seeing Him, longing to know Him, and burning desire for union with Him constitutes this all consuming love for which the lover forsakes everything, including himself. Second, keeping constant company with saints and lovers of the God and rendering them wholehearted service. Third, guarding the mind against temptations of lust, greed, anger, hatred, power, fame, and fault finding. Fourth, absolute and complete external renunciation, whereby one leaves everyone and everything, and in solitude devotes oneself to prayer, fasting, and meditation. Fifth, living in the world and yet practicing complete internal renunciation. This means attending to all worldly duties without attachment, knowing all to be an illusion and only God to be real, carrying out one's worldly affairs with a pure heart and clean mind, and living the life of recluse in the midst of intense activity. Sixth, selfless service. One who practice one who practices this thinks not of himself, but of the happiness of others. Serve others with no thought of gain or reward. Never allows the mind to be upset or disappointed, and facing all odds and difficulties cheerfully. Sacrifices his welfare for the good of others This is the life of the selfless worker. Can you scroll down, please?
Ah,
The Master's Prayer. Oh, this is the it's
this is a
small.
different one. So, can we have a brief discussion? Yeah, I think for those who claim they are the devotees of Baba or the ardent, say, worshippers of Baba, these guidelines are very, very helpful. So, because we will be put at lot of say confusion sometimes. So even in the, I'll give an example. We may have certain, say, different views than what the trust is trying to do at a particular point or a particular event or things like that. So when we have such an, uh, say, idea coming up in our mind, these guidelines will help us, I think. So we need not say criticize or say complain or express uh,
Yeah, means
no, yes,
rather to judge them. Yeah, rather to judge them.
yes, yes,
Maybe.
rather to
Yeah.
judge them. So
Mhm.
we should do whatever is possible from our end, keeping these guidelines as our, say, uh, beacon of hope to go ahead in the path. Jai Baba.
Yeah, Baba. The
You can,
Master's Prayer.
yes.
O Parvardigar, the preserver and protector of all, you are without beginning and without end, non-dual, beyond comparison, and none can measure you. You are without color, without expression, without form, and without attributes. You are unlimited and unfathomable, beyond imagination and conception, eternal and impressible. You are indivisible and none can see you, but with eyes divine. You always were, you always are, and you always will be. You are everywhere, you are in everything, and you are also beyond everywhere and beyond everything. You are in firmament and in the depths, you are manifest and unmanifest on all planes and beyond all planes. You are in the three worlds and also beyond the three worlds. You are imperceptible and independent. You are the creator, the Lord of lords, the knower of all minds and hearts. You are omnipotent and omnipresent. You are knowledge infinite, power infinite, and bliss infinite. You are the ocean of knowledge, all knowing, infinitely knowing, the knower of the past, the present, and the future, and you are the knowledge itself. You are all merciful and eternally be evolent, benevolent.
Whenever.
You are the soul of souls, the one with infinite attributes. You are the trinity of truth, knowledge, and bliss. You are the source of truth, the ocean of love. You are the ancient one, the highest of the high. You are the Prabhu and Parmeshwar. You are the beyond God and beyond God also. Uh, beyond God also. You are the Parabrahma, Allah, Ilahi, Yazdan, Ahurmazd, and the God beloved. You are named Izzat, the only one worthy of worship. The prayer of repentance. We repent, O God, most merciful, for all our sins, for every thought that was false or unjust or unclean, for every word spoken that ought not to have been spoken, for every deed done that ought not to have been done. We repent for every deed and word that thought inspired by selfishness, and for every deed and word and thought inspired by hatred. We repent most especially for every lustful thought and every lustful action, for every lie, for all hypocrisy, for every promise given but not fulfilled, and for all slander and backbiting. Most especially also, we repent for every action that has brought ruins to others, for every word and deed that has given others pain, and for every wish that pain should befall others. In your unbounded mercy, we ask you to forgive us, O God, for all these sins committed by us, and to forgive us for all our consent failure to think and speak and act according to your will. On worry, I will begin the talk on worry. I will begin the talk by telling you not to worry. Whatever suffering may befall you, you should put up with it and with full faith in, full faith in, and love for Baba. At the most, what could happen? You might die, and it is so very obvious that you have to die one day. You have to drop this body sooner or later. Why not then think that your body is not there already and so act detached? One more thing you must remember that is be honest. Uh, One more thing you must remember that is be honest. I am in everyone and in everything. God is in everyone and in everything. And because God is in everyone and everything, He knows everything. So be resigned completely to His will. Once you were a child, now you have grown up. During the period from childhood up to now, you have gone through moments of great joys and sorrows. Where has all that gone? The fact is, neither joy nor sorrow was there. It is due to Maya that you think of and experience things which have no foundation. Within 20 or 30 years, you will also forget the thoughts and events of today. So the best thing for you to do is just to love me. Love me honestly. Work for me. I alone endure. All else is but a passing show. There should not be any trace of show in the work you do for me. You should have no expectation of reward for any work you do. In fact, I am such a pleased and happy with your love and work. Don't worry. Do not worry. Be happy in my love and continue to hold fast to my daman to the very end. Rest assured that all will be divinely well. God does not abandon those who trust Him. Those who love me and obey me as I should be loved and obeyed, obeyed will one day be similarly loved and obeyed. Those who have today willingly chosen to become my slaves will become true masters tomorrow. Why? Then next
I
is
think
D and this. Why exactly this line? Dear, is it dear?
maybe, dear, are you worried?
Yeah, maybe
Probably.
dear. Yeah, dear, are you worried? Did didn't you hear that Hafiz said not to grave? Who else is worried? No one answered. If no one is worrying, Baba gestured, I have to worry. But my worry is great fun for me. It's very old habit of mine to worry for the whole creation, to, to worry continuously for the release of souls from the bondage of life and death. It's a great fun. Some come to me to heal their diseases, to bless them with the better prospects in life, or for a job, or for children, or because they have too many children. And I have to worry about all those things in addition to my universal worries. You see me sitting, you see me sitting here with you, but I am simultaneously on all the planes of consciousness, on all those situations on the chart that is here before you.
Stations on the chart. Okay.
Yeah, stations on the chart that is here before you. There are souls in the subtle words. Actually, it's a
Subtle
sub
word.
subtle
Subtle.
word. Yeah, that
Be silent.
subtle, subtle word who want me, and I am there with them. And there are those in the mental world who wants me, and I am there with them. You are in the gross world, so you find me with you in the gross world. Those in the subtle world find me in the subtle world. Those in the mental world find me in the mental world. And the one real who finds me as a really am is a blessed. But remember not to worry. Take the advice of Hafiz and do not worry. So subtle world means it's like after the death. So we stay in the 3 days into that world, right? And 10 days in the mental world. Is it the same?
Yes, it is a movement from the subtle to the mental, from the
Mental.
gross. So subtle world is without this gross body, but with lot of emotions and all other faculties still retained.
That is
So
for
when
first
we
3 days. That is first 3 days, right? After our death, subtle world is like. we will be the body, the soul will be near to that body, and just will see everything. And after third day, next 10 days actually, it starts next journey. And after 13 days, I think that soul forgets everything, something like that. I read or have
Yes, 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 yes. Baba says that it is the 3 to 5 days,
yeah.
the subtle body with its sanskara packages and the atma together, the soul, will be around the place where it was living in the gross world. And later it leaves that also and then goes away.
Goes to
So that's
it's
why,
like, yeah, goes to its journey, next journey.
yes, journey.
So don't worry. Worry accumulates and grows in strength. Uh,
Okay.
Grows in strength, becomes a habit long after the original cause has ceased to be. When you were young, this and that happened. You cried, you felt sad, and worry began. And after 50 years, you still worry, although the time when you worry began in you has gone. If after 50 years passes, you could at the end of the time, be still worrying about something which was happening now, which is happening now. It is crazy. You worry now about some condition. So uh, you worry now about some condition. Yet you have experienced all conditions. You have been blind, sick, poor, old, young, beautiful, ugly. You worry about your children. You have had numberless children, and they have had numberless parents and children. You worry about your job. You have been in every sort of occupation. You worry about your wife. You have had so many wives. You have been everything and experienced all condition. And yet you worried about the slightest thing that happened to you. Yeah, that's true actually. Means, at the age of 15 we worry about something else. At the age of 40 we worry about something different. So the worry never stops.
Oh, in this last paragraph, he is telling about the different, say, births and deaths also.
Different births also.
So
Yeah,
worry is
every
a
birth.
constant thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Even in, say, different birth also, you start worrying on so many
Yes.
issues. That's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
worry is always with you. Don't get be always consumed with worry.
Everything emanates from me, but is not real. If you were dreaming and I appeared in your dream and told you you were dreaming, it is not real. You will say, Baba, I'm enjoying these things. I know they are real. It is hard to understand. If you awake dream, if you're awake dream, I tell you now, nothing is real. So don't worry. How to stop? Think of me, love me. Chris said, with the divine authority, your sins are forgiven. With divine authority, love me and your worries will vanish. Reality is impossible to describe. It is difficult to attain. One in a million becomes a lover of God, and of a million lovers, one gets realization. It sounds impossible. Baba says, you have an opportunity because I am here with you and I say, love me.
Oh, yes. So how not to worry is to love Baba.
Love. Yeah, just love Baba. Yes. Duality signifies separateness. Separateness implies fear. Fear causes worry. The way of oneness is the way to happiness. The way of manyness leads to worries. I am the only one without a second. So I am eternally happy. You are separate from yourself. So you always worry. To you, what you see is absolute real, absolute real. To me, it is absolutely false. I alone am real, and my mercy, in bracket will, governs the cosmic illusion. It is truth. It is the truth. When I say that the waves do not roll or the leaves do not move without my will. The moment the intensity of your faith in my will reaches the apex, you bid adieu to worry for good. Then all that you suffered and enjoyed in the past together with all that you may experience in the future, will be to you the most loving and spontaneous expression of my will. And as the lover places the will of the beloved above all else, there is nothing which can cause worry. Think of me more and more, and all your worries will dwindle into nothing, for they are really nothing. And my will works out to awaken this in you and in all.
Okay, the last sentence of the previous paragraph, I will just read that. It's a powerful statement. Then all that you suffered and enjoyed in the past, together with all that you may experience in future, will be to you the most loving and spontaneous expression of my will. And as the lover places the will of the beloved above all else, there is nothing which can cause worry.
Yeah.
So we always say, as Baba wills, whatever happens is Baba's wish. So if we literally take that and then live as for that, the lover places the will of the beloved above all else. That is what we are supposed to do. That there is nothing which can cause worry.
Yeah, yeah, yes. Baba,
Someone else can read this Baba's sermon.
I can read if Shuk sir is, I think, there.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Baba's sermon. Being just now in the old life for these few hours, I will tell you what I feel to be established divine facts. Essentially, we are
The
all,
whole life, we will read that asterisk. Baba stepped out of the new life in October 1950 to dedicate this message, dictate this
dictate this
message.
message. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, being just now in the old life for these few hours, I will tell you what I feel to be established divine facts. Yeah, Baba stepped out of the new life in October 1950 to dictate this message. Essentially, we are all one. The feeling of our beings otherwise is due to ignorance. So it desires consciousness to know itself. But in its progress towards this goal, which it cannot realize independently of creation, it must undergo the experience uh, which it gathers as the individualized ego, and which is all imagination. Thus, it is faced at the outset with ignorance instead of knowledge. Dual forms and illusionary creations are the outcomes of ignorance, birth and death. Happiness and misery, virtue and sin, good and bad, all are equally manifestation of this same ignorance. You were never born and will never die. You never suffered and will never suffer. You ever were, you ever were, and ever will be. As separateness exists only in imagination. Soul undergoes experience through Soul undergoes experience through innumerable forms, such as being kind and beggar, rich and poor, tall and short, strong and weak, beautiful and ugly, of killing and being killed. All these experiences must transpire as long as the soul thought it is the one in reality and undivided, imagines separateness in itself. When soul is barefoot, when
Bereft,
soul is
bereft.
bereft, okay, when soul is bereft of the impressions of these illusionary experiences, it becomes naked as in its origin. To become now fully conscious of its unity with the oversoul, which is one, indivisible, real, and infinite, the soul becomes free. The soul becomes free of the bindings of impressions through various paths. And love is the most important of this path leading to the realization of God. Through this love, the soul becomes entirely absorbed in God, ultimately forgetting itself completely. It is then of all of sudden knowledge comes as swiftly in the lightning bolt which burns to ashes all that it falls upon. This knowledge uproots illusion, doubts and worries, and apparent suffering are instantaneously replaced by everlasting peace and eternal bliss, which is goal of all existence. Soul now free from its illusions realizes its original unity of being. Let us not hope because of knowledge is beyond hoping and wanting. Let us not reason because its knowledge cannot be comprehended of through or through of. Let us
Thought
not
of
doubt.
or thought of.
Oh, sorry. Let us not reason because this knowledge cannot be comprehended or thought of. Let us not doubt because this knowledge is the certainty of certainties. Let us not live the life of senses because the lusty, greedy, false, impure mind cannot reach this knowledge. Let us love God as the soul of our souls, and in the height of this love lies this knowledge. The divinely perfect one can bestow this knowledge on anyone they like and whenever they like. May we all gain this knowledge soon.
So, okay, I'll read the next one. Um, okay, my dear children, you are coming to me from different places and from across oceans has pleased me. And although no sacrifice to be near me is too great, I am touched by the sacrifice that some of you have made to come here. Those who have not been able to come to me should not feel disheartened, for my love is with them as always, and especially so at this time. I know how they are longing to be near me even for an hour, and how helpless they are in their circumstances. You have come from great distances not for some convention or confidence, but to enjoy my company and feel afresh my love in your hearts. It is a coming together of East and West in the house of their Father. All religions of the world proclaim that there is but one God, the Father of all in creation. I am that Father. This was mentioned in for the Sahwas of 10,000 Lovers at Pune, October 1962. Okay. I think it is the East-West Sahwas. I have come to remind all people that they should live on earth as the children of the one Father until my grace awakens them to the realization that they are all one without a second, and that all divisions and conflicts and hatred are but a shadow play of their own ignorance. Although all are my children, they ignore the simplicity and beauty of this truth by indulging in hatreds, conflicts, and wars that divide them in enmity. Instead of living as one family in their Father's house, even amongst you who love me and accept me for what I am, there is sometimes lack of understanding of one's own, lack of understanding of one another's hearts. Patiently have I suffered these things in silence for all my children. It is time that they become aware of the presence of their Father in their midst and of their responsibility towards Him and themselves. I shall break my silence and with my words of words arouse my children to realize in their lives the indivisible existence which is God. Throughout the years, I have been giving many messages and discourses. Today, I simply want to tell you who are gathered here in my love to shut the ears of your minds and open the ears of your hearts to hear me Hear my word when I utter it. Do not seek my blessings, which is always with you, but long for the day when my grace will descend on all who love me. Most blessed are they who do not even long for my grace, but simply seek to do my will. My dear workers, in spite of telling you very often that I will not give you any more messages or discourses, I find myself doing just this thing, which is what I do not want to do. This is because most of you do things which I do not like you are doing. I had to give you a message yesterday because you expected one, and the theme of the message was on your being my children. Because despite much talk about a Baba family, there is more a semblance than a reality of kinship among you who are the children of one father. True children of one father do not greet one another with smiles and embraces and at the same time harbor grudges and ill feelings, but they have an active concern in their hearts for the well being of one another and make sacrifices for that well being. If you make me your real father, all differences and contentions between you and all personal problems in connection with your lives will become dissolved in the ocean of my love. You are all keen on spreading my message of love and truth, and many of you in the East and West have labored hard in this work, publishing magazines and other literature, organizing meetings, sacrificing your vacation in traveling, building halls, and having statues made of me. But I wonder how much of my love and truth has been in your work for spreading my message of love and truth. Unless there is a brotherly feeling in your hearts, all the words that you speak or print in my name are hollow. All the miles that you travel in my cause are zero. All organizations for my work are but an appearance of activity. All buildings to contain me are empty places, and all statues that you make to embody me are of someone else. I have been patient and indulgent over the way you have been doing these things because you have been very young children in my love. And children must have some sort of games to play. But now you are older and are beginning to realize that there is a greater work ahead of you than what you have been doing. And you have been searching your minds and hearts as to what this work might be. It is not a different work to what you have been already doing. It is the same work done in a different way. And that way is the way of effacement, which means the more you work for me, the less important you feel in yourself. You must always remember that I alone do my work, although only the one who has become one with God can serve and work for all. I allow you to work for me so that you have the opportunity to use your talents and capacities selflessly and so draw closer to me. You should never think that in your work for me you are benefiting others. For by being instrumental in bringing others to me, you are benefiting yourself. My work is your opportunity. But when you allow yourself to intervene between you and my work, you are allowing the work to take you away from me. When you put my work before yourself, the work will go right, although not necessarily smoothly. And when the work does not go right, it means you have put yourself between it and its accomplishment. The the way of my work is the way of effacement, which is the way of strength, not of weakness. And through it, you become mature in my love. At this stage, you cannot know what real love is, but through working for me, you should work for me. You will arrive at the rightness there. In a moment, I can give you that which you have been seeking for millions of years. Okay, anyone can continue. I'm
Yeah,
getting stuck. Yes.
sure. I will take that.
Okay.
The spiritual potential of the film world. For better or for worse, the world of motion pictures has grown up extensively within the large world of so called realities. But the film world is not foreign to the real world. The two are affiliated so intimately that they can be seen, essentially to be the made of some fabric. For everyone is, in a sense, an actor, and the world has often been compared to the stage by poets and philosophers. In point of fact, much of what goes for action in modern life can be called little but acting. And so the larger world has little ground to regard only the film world as being imitative. In the film world, the actor has to think, feel, and act accordingly to the pattern held before him, to mirror, through temporarily the personality of the character being portrayed by him. This can be said to be equally true. This can be said to be equally true to a considerable extent of those outside the world of motion pictures who struggle to follow the conventional pattern of living as they imagine it is expected of them, even if it cramps their inner individual expression. This is so not only figuratively but literally. This is not this is so not only figuratively but literally. While looking in the mirror, people often see themselves more through the eyes of others than through their own. The reflected image evokes in their minds the impressions they will make on the others and the expectation which others have of them. And the best that most can do is not try to look the part they play. Thus, the mirror literally and figuratively has become such a seemingly indispensable part of modern life that we might almost name this age a mirror civilization. when the mirror civilization, when the actor plays the part of king, he knows it to be an illusion and has, in a sense, an in the advantage over the king in the outer world, who is not necessarily aware of any illusion. Sorry, who is not necessarily aware of any illusion. Both, however, the equally helpless in their failure to find the real. No one condemns the actor who plays the part of an emperor or reformer as a hypocrite. For although he appears to be what he is not, his honesty is taken for granted because his audience knows that he is acting a part. But there are many outside the world of stage and screen who in actual life do not appear as they really are. The former are on the screen of their creation, the latter behind the screen of their creation. There are specific claims and privileges as well as specific duties and potentialities that no actor can afford to ignore. An actor who may be technically faultless in his part is a trivial and worthless if he tries to evade his inherent spiritual potential. The film world cannot escape his obligations to the larger world on which, sorry, there was
Uh, Sorry. Uh,
I just missed that part.
yes,
Okay,
yes,
there
the
are also,
film world.
just a second, sorry. Let me start from here. But there are
Okay.
many outside the world of stage screens who is actual life do not appear as they real are. The former are on the screen of their creation, the latter behind the screen of their creation. There are specific claims and privileges as well as specific duties and potentialities that no actor can afford to ignore. An actor who may be technically faultless in his part is a trivial and worthless if he tries to evade his inherent spiritual potential. The film world cannot escape its obligations to the larger world on which it makes so substantial an impression, and these obligations demand that its spiritual potential take precedence over the desire to make money. The script writers, the producers, and actors should realize their spiritual potential instead of looking at their art as a merely or mainly a business. The more vividly they realize this, the more dignified and satisfactory will the result of their efforts be, and their inner amount with themselves will vastly gratifying, even though the same might not be said of their account in their bank. If the film world cannot or will not give the greatest importance to the spiritual potential, it is a failure. The ordinary, yeah, the ordinary man whose urgent need is to relax from the stress of life, to lessen the sense of insecurities and try to fill the emptiness within, in bracket, for which greed and war are mostly responsible, turns instinctively to the fleeting diversion of entertainment, and the film words afford this to a great extent. The film world, therefore, which which still has one of the greatest scope for the influencing the lives of merits, should ask itself whether it is utilizing its spiritual potential to the full so that man may be helped in his search for truth, or merely pandering to his pleasure in the false, whether it is encouraging and inspiring youth to face the responsibilities of the world of tomorrow, or uh, retarding youth's inner growth with an overdose of sex and crimes films, and whether it is a striving after the wealth and fame at the cost of man's inherent thirst for the spiritual and uplifting. The correct solution of the correct solution of every problem can come only from indivisible truth. There can be no fictitious cleavage in the unity of life by magnifying the often fallacious distinctions between theory and practice, the artificial and the natural, the real and the false. The emphasis of every aspect of the one indivisible life must be on the underlying unity and not on the apparent differences, and this applies with as much force to those in film world as to those in the world in the outer world. The great initiator of the great yeah, the great initiator of the truth of your being is divine love. Love that burns the limiting self, that disarms all fears, that rises above temptations, that is deaf to the voices of lust and jealousy, that expresses the infinite spiritual potential. Those in the film world have also to play their part unreserved, unreservedly in the divine game of life, aspiring to the highest within them. Then only can they find real beauty, and then only can they fully express it. The spiritual potential of those in the film world, though in no way different from that of those outside it, must often be differentially expressed. You can even, as an actor, experience and express divinity in the world of the motion picture, and by its means you can learn and you can teach. But if you do not find love or happiness, truth or fulfillment in yourself, you cannot truly impart them to your audience. You cannot inspire unless you are yourself inspired, nor can nor can you awaken love in the insensitive souls without yourself being pierced by it. The actor has to realize that the real and living beauty is made manifest only by discovering and realizing the spiritual potential within himself. Artifice can no doubt do much to hide the fresh and radiant beauty that is natural to youth. But this artifice and not art and such transient beauty is poles apart from the real beauty. Without vision, your art will be shallow. Do not therefore hesitate to glean that vision from the great ones. This will give you a living inspiration, bringing fulfillment in your life. So, my message to the film world is do not play to the gallery, do not play to the gallery or the salary, but play also the infinite within. Live in the presence of God, even while acting your part, so that you can be true to yourself, to your partners and employers, and to the larger and one indivisible life of which you are each an inseparable part. If the world is a stage, God is the only producer, and you can never be anything but a tribal actor if you're not in unison with Him. Song of New Line Life.
Uh, the last sentence, if the world is a stage, God is the only producer, and you can never be anything but a trivial actor if you are not in unison with Him. Okay,
I think Shakespeare also has some same kind of
sayings.
dialogue. Yeah, yeah. He
Okay,
also says something. God is a man is actor. God is a director. Stage world is a stage. Something like that. Some
yes.
those statements are there. Yeah. Song of the new life. Listen to the silent words of Mer Baba. The life of all lovers of God is these words. You who are serious about following the new life will renounce your ephemeral,
Ephemeral.
ephemeral existence. We have taken to this life in which we rely only upon God. Our will is strengthened by our oath. We merely sing the song of hopelessness. We invite all calamities and difficulties.
Calamities and
Yeah,
difficulties.
calamities. Calamities and difficulties. We neither wail over lost hopes, nor complain about promises, nor covet honor, nor shun disgrace. Backbiting is ended, and we do not fear anyone. This is the tenor of our new life. No confusion in the mind now, neither are any ties left. Pride, anger, lust, and greed are slaughtered off. No religion for any of us, nor care for physical and mental aims. The Sheikh and the Brahmins are now in the same boat. There is for us all too small or great. Neither disciple, master, nor godhood exist. Brother, brotherliness is the link. Brotherliness is the link, and our common enjoyment of suffering. This world or the next, hell or heaven, we are no longer concerned with. Shaktis, star, and siddhis, occultism, and miracles, we are no longer plagued with. All false impressions have been purged from the mind. Now we lie in the active present. Dear ones, take seriously the words of Baba. Although now I am on the same level with you, yet all orders from me, good, bad, or extraordinary, you should carry out immediately living and result to God. Even if the heavens fall, do not let go the hand of truth. Let not despair or disappoint ravage and destroy the garden of your life. You beautify it by contentment and self-sufficiency. Even though your heart be cut to bites, let a smile be on your lips. Here I divulge to your truth. Hidden in your empty hands is treasure untold. Your beggarly life is the envy of kings. God exists indeed, and true are the prophets. Every cycle has an avatar, and every moment a valley. For us, however, it is the only hopelessness and helplessness. How else can I describe to you what our new life is?
This prayer is very, very significant. Uh, Song of New Life. I will once again repeat it because it's maybe the first or second time I am reading this. Okay.
Sure, sure, sure.
Listen to the silent words of Meher Baba. The life of all lovers of God is in these words. You who are serious about following the new life will renounce your ephemeral existence. We are taken to this life in which we rely only upon God. Our will is strengthened by our oath. So the oath is as follows, I think. We merrily sing the song of hopelessness. We invite all calamities and difficulties. We neither wail over lost hopes, nor complain about promises, nor covet honor, nor shun disgrace. Backbiting is ended, and we do not fear anyone. This is the tenor of the new life, of our new life. No confusion in the mind now, neither are any ties left. Pride, anger, lust, and greed are sloughed off. No religion for any of us, no care for physical and mental aims. The the sheikh and Brahmins are now in the same boat. There is for us all no small or great, neither disciple, master, nor godhood exists. Brotherliness is the link, and our common enjoyment of suffering. This world or the next, hell or heaven, we are no longer concerned with. Shaktis and siddhis, occultism and miracles, we are no longer plagued with. All false impressions have been purged from the mind. Now we lie in in the active present. Now we lie in the active present. Dear ones, take seriously the words of Baba. Although now I am on the same level with you, yet all orders from me, good, bad, or extraordinary, you should carry out immediately, leaving the result to God. In this line, orders from me, good, bad, or extraordinary. This qualification of good, bad, or extraordinary is put by us. Baba will have some reason for telling us to do anything which may look good for us, which may look bad for us, or extraordinary. We should
Yes.
carry out immediately, leaving the result to God. Just somebody wanted to say something.
No.
Okay. Even if the heavens fall, do not let go the hand of truth. Let not despair or disappoint ravage and destroy the garden of your life. You beautify it by contentment and self-sufficiency. Even though your heart be cut to bits, let a smile be on your lips. Here I divulge to you a truth. Hidden in your empty hands is treasure untold. Your beggarly life is the envy of kings. God exists indeed, and true are the prophets. These lines are very, very impactful. God exists indeed, and true are the prophets. Every cycle as an avatar, and every moment a valley. For us, however, it is only hopelessness and helplessness. How else can I describe to you what your new life is? So these two lines, God exists indeed, true are the prophets, every cycle as an avatar, and every moment a valley. There are five Sadgurus always available, they say, even though we may not know or identify them. So
Wali
that is
means master. Wali means masters. Sorry,
Master,
Sadgurus.
Sadguru, yes,
Sadgurus.
not Sadguru, but the whole group of 56 God realized souls. I feel that is what is referred to here.
56 or 5? I thought of it's 5, no?
That is the Sadgurus who are at
Sadhguru.
the, they are only five. Anytime one, five are always there. That's what is
Yeah.
said by Baba. Okay. Oh, this is the last. The prayer for Baba lovers, dictated by Meher Baba. Beloved God, help us all to love you more and more, and more and more, and still yet more, till we become worthy of union with you. And help us all to hold fast to Baba's Daman till the very end. And help us all to hold fast to Baba's Daman till the very end. Okay, I think we have completed the book today.
Yeah, yeah.
Path of Love. We have some 10 minutes or so, so we can conclude by our feelings regarding this book reading.
I joined just last week, so I'm not part of the whole full book.
Yes,
But
yes,
yeah, but still, whatever I listen, it's really good. It's
yes.
like very good experience.
Sanjay ji, you are there?
No, no one is there. Only Ashok sir is there.
Nobody. Oh, Ashok sir. Ashok, are you at home or outside? He is also uh, not to be able to talk, I think. Okay, sorry. My screen is moving here and there. So this Path of Love, even though it is a very small book, contains so many messages of Baba and all put together in one place. So that's why we had made earlier we had made Sunil Dar had made a slide presentation of some of the prayers and sayings and messages from this book, and then compiled them and then circulated it. So I had printed those, and then that is what is my prayer book for Baba every day or any time I find time to read all those things. So in this, there is one small couplet which I would like to read. Three of Meher Baba's favorite couplets of Hafiz, the mystical Persian poet. So what Hafiz says in these three couplets are very, very profound. We need to think of every word here. Befitting a fortunate slave. So there are three things here. Befitting a fortunate slave, carry out every command of the master without any question of why and what. Carry out every command of the master without any question of why and what. So, if you are a slave to the master and you are a fortunate slave to the master, what is befitting to you is to carry out all the commands of the master. How? Without any question of why and what. So, don't think of why and what, how, why is asking me to do all these things and other things. Just do what the master says. That he says is the fortunate works, slaves, befitting way of living with the master. Okay. The second one is about what you hear from the master, never say it is wrong. Because, my dear, the fault lies in your own incapacity to understand him. So, the gist of this is always what a master says is true or correct. It can never be wrong. If in your mind, anytime you feel like the master is telling something which is wrong, then it is because your own incapacity to understand the master. So if we have this in our mind, we will never try to judge what Baba is telling. Never try to judge what your guru is telling you to do or understand or anything. So because the underlying understanding is that we are incapable of understanding the whole gamut of what a master is telling a disciple. So just accept it and try to work on that.
Yeah, yeah.
The
And I
third,
think, yeah,
yes, yes,
please
go
go ahead.
ahead.
Yeah, I think these words I remember somewhere I read. I think in the Mehrabad, in that room also these are mentioned
Yes,
in
yes,
Baba's
these
room.
couplets are,
Yeah,
yes. The third one is, I am slave of the master who has released me from ignorance. Whatever my master does is of the highest benefit to all concerned. So here you can see that the three stanzas are developmental stages. So in the third, I am slave of the master who has released me from ignorance. So the disciple has grown to that extent where he has understood that he is the slave of the master who has released him from ignorance. So he is coming out of ignorance because of the master's, say, repeated advices to him. Whatever my master does is of the slightest, is of the highest benefit to all concerned. So in the previous stanza, he was being trained to never question the master's words. Here, the disciple himself is telling, whatever my master does is of the highest benefit to all concerned. So that is his growth or his level of understanding being a slave with the master. So these are very profound three couplets which can be looked in different ways to understand this. So that's why whenever I read this, these say thoughts come to my mind, and then every time I understand it in a different light and a better light than earlier. Jai Baba.
yeah, Baba.
So we have completed the path of life, and I don't know what will be the program next week. Karthik
Okay.
and Kama are likely to go to Europe to attend a Baba activity in Italy.
Oh, okay,
So
okay,
I don't know whether we will have a new thing happening next week or something in between we will continue. So hope to hear from Karthik for
okay.
the programs for
But
next week.
what's the program in Italy about Baba?
I think they are commemorating Baba's visit to Italy, the places he had visited and all that. There is some
Okay,
sort of a small tour and lecture series and other things organized locally. So these people also are joining that. So
okay,
I don't know the exact program and also the dates, but it is in May. It is in May.
okay, okay.
I will ask Karthik to text further details for our next week's program.
Sure, sure.
Jai
Yeah,
Baba.
yes.
Jai Baba.
Jai Mere Baba. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.